Welcome back to the Spiro Avenue show, or at least some version of it. I don't know. You may have run into a construction barrel on your way to Spiro Avenue tonight because we are under active construction. Do not judge the mostly barren shelves behind our guests because they are quite barren, because we are a work in progress. There's dust everywhere. Don't judge the cleanliness or lack thereof of the desk, of myself, of anything, but we're on the way. It's going to be very pretty. And how do I pay for all this wonderful stuff? It's not me. It's not Ben, no offense. It's not the guests, although we love them. It's the sponsors. And this is my favorite one. Not only is Superior Home Lending paying me to put their name up there, but he's also saving me a ton of money on my home refi. And look, 99 times out of 100, people are lying to you and they're like, oh yeah, I use this razor all the time. Like, this guy's actually redoing my house financials right now. So Superior Home Lending, this is Michael Fick, one of my good friends from college. Love this guy, great guy, smart guy, one-man band and the best one-man band in town. Check him out, superiorloans.mortgage, 616-299-9275. Michael and I go way back. He saw my interest rate was like 4.3 or something. He laughed his ass off for a couple hours and then called me back and said, we got to fix that. Now my interest rate has a 2 in front of it. So we're going to close. I think, I don't know, Michael, when? Like a week from now? Tell me, get back to me. But we're on the doorstep. I'm excited. He's the man. Check him out if you need anything at all. That's NMLS 1159792 at nationwidelicensing.org. Michael Fick's the man. So let's get to it. Look, I am seldom starstruck. I've had the Heisman Trophy front runner across from me. I've had guys with their name on the Stanley Cup 3-4 times. I've had a lot of celebrities. I've had Roger Stone, who ran the Donald Trump campaign. No judgments, anybody. Careful. I'm seldom this starstruck because this is one of my favorite up-and-comers. So good and refined that I don't even think you can call her an up-and-comer. I think she's basically arrived very early. This is Kennedy Broadwell from Woodward Sports Network. An absolute star from...
That is so nice.
Butler.
That is way too nice.
I am a big fan of yours. We all know it. I've said it for a long time. And we have talked before. We have a lot of mutual friends. Everybody in your ether is a big fan of yours. I think they are sad that you're not going to talk to any of us in like 6 months. So we're all trying to grab you while we can. Like, hey, I got to get that Kennedy on the show before she's like, okay, I'm going to Bristol. Like, F off. So I'm happy to have you. So you're a star in the making.
Thank you.
You are very good at what you do. I'm excited to, one day point at my TV and say, my daughter, like, yeah, I knew her. She was in your basement, honey. Like, it was great. So I'll show her the pictures. But while you're not too big of a star yet, I'm going to talk about some serious stuff. Before we get to that, I do want to say I apologize for what my basketball school did to your poor little basketball school.
My poor little basketball.
Well, you guys, you have 6,000 people at Hinkle. Yeah, it's a cute little stadium. So I think we won by 21 or something. It was not close.
It was not close. I think we were trailing by 10 for like at least 99% of the game.
Well, trailing by 10 in a game like that, the Lions would hang a banner for something like that. I guess we'll get to that. Butler is a little bit more proud than the Detroit Lions. So let's transition to that. So, I always say I am a big Detroit Lions fan. People don't think that. People will be like, well, why do you follow them if you hate them so much? I think project hate because I love them so much and want them so badly to do well that they drive me insane. When they screw it up, even the most basic things, they blow the layups. I would not say we've talked. There's people like Sam Day, your colleague, that are so the Detroit Lions could shit on his porch.
They could do no wrong.
It doesn't matter. So you're not in that category, but you're in a big group of people that are a lot less cynical than I am about this stuff. So I want to talk about that, and we'll frame it like this. We're going to throw your tweet up from a few days ago. This shows your level of investment emotionally in this. This is Kennedy on November 14th, 4 days ago from when we're doing this live. Quote, the Lions can pay for my therapy. So you are just, you're invested. And there's a million tweets yours like this.
A million.
So you need to be on a couch telling somebody about the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
I have a very different take on this. And this was my tweet from, I don't know, it's a year ago, whatever. Throw it up, Ben. Well, this is sort of my perspective. I was like a month ago. Quote, I don't understand these Lions fans who are riding the wave of emotions with this year's team. Just laugh and Google NFL mock draft like an adult. So Kennedy across from me is talking about consultations with a licensed professional. And I'm saying, I don't know how any of you guys give a shit about this, because this season, even if you think the organization, you have hope for them someday, certainly this season's a joke. Like, this was never going to be a good thing. So you're saying it, but you're along for the ride with this stuff. Like, I got to ask, you're here, like, why? Why do you care? Can't you just take it off for like a month and just take it easy?
People comment that on every single thing that I tweet, every single thing that I post anywhere about the Lions. But I genuinely try every single week. I'm like, I'm not going to care. They can't hurt me. And then I'm watching and there's a glimmer of hope. And then they punch me in the gut. And then we tie.
Yeah. What do you even do? What do you even do with that information? It's like, I didn't know whether to like make fun of them or like.
I was genuinely so pissed off.
You were more mad that they tied?
I was more mad that they tied than that if they would have
really
lost.
I mean, 100%. I was too, but we were coming from different perspectives. That was kind of the point. I just wanted them to go 0-17, but
I had to go to a family party directly after, and I just walked in so mad, and they were like, "Why are you late?" And I was like, "The Lions game. Went a little late today."
Yeah.
And they tied.
The full 10 minutes of overtime, which you don't see that like very often. The tie, no. You see what in the league, like one a year usually, maybe two. Like, it's not, extremely rare, but an entire season that happened one time or twice.
The fact that there were men on the field that did not know that could happen, that said, we can tie?
Yeah. That happens every time. Anytime there's any tie in the NFL, which I guess shows to our point how it's pretty seldom occurring, there's always at least one or two guys at the podium. They're like, "Oh shit, I was like ready for a second overtime." It's like, no, like, and the referee gets on the mic at the 50 and announces the rules of overtime like to everybody. But I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know how like you and I know, but a guy making $3 million a year to play Nickelback has no clue. I don't know. I have no idea. So like we clearly have different perspectives. Now, in your defense, you're 22, 23.
Freshly 23.
Freshly 20. Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
So when I was 23, I was like you still. I was starting to get a little more cynical. Like, I think you're starting to build that a little bit, which you're getting that callous skin that the Lions will give you. So I always say when I see somebody acting what I think is a fool with them, I just try to, if I don't know them personally or I can't verify it, I try to guess their age. Somebody like Sam Day. Sam, no offense. You've been in the studio twice. But Sam's like 39 or 40 or something.
Which I never knew. Well, like when I met him, I thought he was much younger.
He does look young, yeah.
And I thought Adam was much older. They throw me off. Every guy at Woodward Sports, I can't gauge how old they are.
Adam's a beautiful man. I just want to get that on the record. So, no, but yeah, Adam.
Put that on record.
Adam will be perpetually a 23 Herculean figure to me. So you have to frame it in that way when you're looking at this stuff. So somebody like Sam Day, and certainly like I'm 34, somebody my age should know better. Like, so when I see somebody, especially if they're like in their 50s and they're like crying at Ford Field.
Crackman and those guys.
I don't want to name anyone personally because I don't want to be mean. But like, come on, like get it together, man. Like I'm not saying don't root for them. I'm not saying don't even be disappointed. But these people, it like ruins their week. I don't get it. You're younger. Anybody in your sort of age range, I give a little more slack to. But tell me kind of where you're at with this. Do you have faith, really, that they're ever going to do it? Or do you think you're inevitably going to end up in my basket?
That's so hard. That is such a hard question to answer because I obviously can't see into the future. But where we're at right now, Anthony Lynn, not feeling good about. Dan Campbell, I want to feel good about. I want to like this man so hard. I gassed him up so hard preseason. Like, this is going to be the one. This is the coach. No more being mediocre. No more sad guys in the locker room. No more Darius Slay kind of altercations with the coach being a dick. And as much as I think they do like him, it's not translating to anything. Mind you, we have a lot of injuries happening. Decker, I think, is out again. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Goff might be out this week, which fingers crossed. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
It's not going to make a difference at quarterback. But I just don't. Is this the group of coaches that's going to do it? I have no idea. I every day get less and less off the the Lions are ever going to win a Super Bowl in my lifetime train.
Well, and that's the thing is like.
But I have a lot of life to live left, so it's hard.
I know. That's what I thought. And then suddenly I look up and I'm like, oh, shit, I'm in my mid-30s now. Like, I could be past the halfway point. Like, what do dudes last? Like 76 in this country? I'm coming up on the midway point if I don't, like, God forbid, get into a car wreck. Like,
right.
It could happen, but, like, the whole thing, and you just said it's a perfect segue. You know, people say, I don't know if I'll ever see them in the Super Bowl. It's like, hey, buddy, I'm with you on that, but, like, can we back up? How about win a division? How about win a division or a playoff game? You were just, I don't know if you have any older siblings. I think you have at least one younger one.
No, I have a twin, and that's it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's it for you. Okay.
So we've experienced the same Lions.
Your generation, or not your generation, like you and your siblings or people in your graduating class, weren't even alive when they won a playoff game. I think I was still like shitting my diapers when they did that. So it's like, I understand the, like, oh, I want to see them in a Super Bowl before I die. Can we start with like a division win or a playoff win, or even making the playoffs and not like getting embarrassed? Like,
right.
I've seen them make the playoffs a handful of times. They've gotten embarrassed every time. It's not even like a close loss. So it's not even like the Red Sox in 2004. The Cubs ended up 2016 making good. Those franchises were cursed, tortured, Billy Goat, curse of the Bambino, but they were making the World Series and losing. They were going to Game 7 of the ALCS or NLCS and losing. You know, Red Sox, Cubs lost Game 7 of the ALCS, I think twice each. Lost in the World Series a couple times each. They were there. They just like couldn't quite get over. Mm-hmm. The Lions, they're not even in the discussion.
No.
I have no faith. So you're asking me not only can they make a Super Bowl, but can they go like 7 levels higher than they ever have? I have no faith.
No. Yeah. I feel you. I definitely feel you. But it's just so hard being so young. And like the closest I remember, the last time I remember them being like decent was I was a sophomore in high school. I remember exactly where I was because here it is. The Lions owe me therapy. I cried when they lost to the Cowboys.
So you were
a sophomore in high school, so
15
or 16.
You're exempt from any. You're like a kid. At that
I
point,
quite literally was sitting at my boyfriend's house at the time with his mom.
Yeah,
there's just the two of us girls watching the Lions because she liked them too, and I just bawled.
It was bad. I was there, actually. I hate to say it. Because it was a great little weekend. Michigan State played in the Cotton Bowl against Baylor like 2 days before. It was like a Friday and then Sunday or something, whatever it was. So they played 2 days before. So we saw Michigan State, and they're same stadium. They're both at Jerry World. So my buddy and I went and stayed, and we saw Michigan State's incredible comeback. They were down like 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, came back, won by 1 point, beat Baylor, shocked the world. It was great. So we had a great day on Saturday. The next day, Michigan State won. We actually felt good about the Lions going into Sunday. Stupid us. That was probably the death.
First mistake.
That was the death of me. I was like, well, I thought we had a better team. I'll go to my grave saying that the Detroit Lions team was better than the Dallas Cowboys. I thought that Lions team was one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the league that year. Mm-hmm. And they just didn't get it done. But yeah, so you have the ultimate high of Michigan State coming back in epic fashion, and the Detroit Lions kick you in the balls. I don't know. I have no faith that they can ever do it, and I'm curious for your diagnosis here because here's mine.
Oh boy.
And we'll get the scalpel out. We'll go a little deeper, but I'm going to start here. I get criticized for this sometimes, and so do other people in my camp. I do not think it's a conspiracy. I don't think it's the refs hate Detroit. The league hates Detroit versus everybody. I don't buy any of that. I don't think they're unlucky. I am in the very simple, straightforward camp. It is the Ford family.
No. Don't do this to me.
Why?
I'm a Sheila apologist. I openly admit it.
This will be a great show.
I openly admit it. Adam flames my ass
Based
every
on
day.
What? Why? There's more things on my shelf than there are reasons to defend Sheila for it happened. And they're new. They are empty. Like, come on. Why?
Sheila's trying. She brought
That's
in
the bar?
Spielman. Yes, that's the bar. That's the problem. That's the bar. That's the bar for Lions.
The bar
fans.
is tried?
The bar is in hell. The bar is in hell.
That is about as low in hell as you can get. I mean, you're down there with Adolf.
But
I mean, like seriously, that's the defense she's trying.
Genuinely,
God bless you, man. I mean,
I want to give Sheila a chance because I'm seeing more effort from her than I've seen from the others.
Yeah.
The others can piss off. Don't give a shit about them. But Sheila, I'm giving at least 2 more years. I'm going to give Dan Campbell 2 more years. I'm going to give Sheila 2 more years. I
love you for saying that because it drives me nuts that people never put like a time on it.
Yeah.
You have to, and not just with this, anything. It's like, someday they'll win. And then like Sam Day could be 96 years old and I'll be 90 and the Lions will win and he'll be like,
I told you.
Should have kept the faith, bro. I'll be like, dude, I'm lucky I even was alive to kind of hear about this. Like, the whole they'll get it done. It's like, okay, win. Like, I'm not saying you can be conservative. 9 years from now, they'll win. Like, within 9 years. Like, most people don't do that. So I credit you for that. The thing with Martha, though, versus Sheila, Martha was getting this same kind of like, oh, she's different. Though I could find the articles, Michael Rothstein, glowing articles about Martha's doing it differently. And we heard apologists for Martha. She's not her husband. Nothing ever came of it. Still no division wins, no playoff wins.
Right.
Now it's Sheila. Here's why I don't trust Sheila. I don't want to do the whole Calvin thing.
Yeah.
I don't like the Calvin thing.
No.
And the other point of this, the other pillar, is she was in front of the cameras vehemently defending Quinn Trisha, saying, I know the fans want them gone. I effectively know better. We know what's best for this franchise. So her 2 big things, she is, to me, blown. Dan Campbell, it's too early. I have said from day one, I think she blew that, but we'll put that aside.
Yeah.
The 2 things that everyone agrees pretty much were bad. So am I being too harsh in that? Do you think it's still too early?
I just don't really think the Quinn Trisha era, I mean, it wasn't all her. And this is the thing. She came out and she admitted, I don't have that much football knowledge. Which, like, how do you grow up in this family? Well, actually, no, you know what? I see how you actually, hang on. I know how you grew up in this family and have no football knowledge.
Yeah.
But that she brought on Spielman, which I liked. And she's like, help me understand this. So that's where I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you a few years to learn. And if I don't see anything, then it's F all the Fords.
Okay, so you're perceptive because you're into my head. My next question was going to be, okay, this is the 3rd family member to get a crack at this, and you're defending it. So if it goes to a 4th, if Sheila's like, let's say Sheila just gets
who's next?
Yeah, well, but let's say that it's going to go to somebody they're not selling. So I said we can't be that many lines of succession away from the family pet taking over. But let's say it's some niece we don't know about or something. Are you going to be in this chair or in your chair in Bristol saying, let's give, I don't know, Laney Ford a chance? Like at some point, can we just indict them on a blanket level? That's all I'm like, please.
You have to.
Okay, so you're with me on that. And everyone says the Ford's the one constant. Agree with all that, but I think people miss exactly what it is in particular. I haven't heard really anybody hone in on this. Not to say they haven't. I don't listen to every show ever done.
Right.
I've never heard it, though, other than from my own mouth when I'm saying it to myself because I talk to myself. I think I have it pegged, and I'm curious for your thoughts.
Okay.
Here's this particular issue, and I'm going to run down the list because I wrote these ones down. It's not just, they're dumb people. We're done.
Right.
It's not just that.
They're clearly not dumb people. Look how successful they are in grand scheme of.
Oh, come on.
I mean,
come on.
You can't be totally dumb and have that much going on.
I mean, 4th generation wealth, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. You got it going.
I'm not saying they're dumb people like low IQ. I think if they took if Sheila Fordham took an IQ test, she'd be like in the 95 percentile or better. Like that's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think she's a dumb person.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think they're cursed. We talked about that. I don't think the league's against them. I don't think it's some conspiracy. My specific particular thing is if you trace their history as an organization, there is always at least one prominent figure in management that is got a big voice at the table that has 0 qualifications whatsoever to hold that position. And not just that they're unqualified. Oh, they hired somebody that happened to be unqualified or is unqualified, turned out to be unqualified. They were predictably unqualified because they went into their personal inner circle to hire them. It is a buddy system. It's a billionaire operation going by buddy system. And look, there actually were a couple examples, but these were the three relatively contemporaneous ones. Russ Thomas, GM from 1967 to 1989. Okay, that's 22 years. Very rare even for good GMs. 22 years, 0 playoff wins. How did he stay employed for 22 years? Ask anybody that knows. It's not inside knowledge, it's public knowledge.
Yep.
That was William Clay Ford Sr.'s good drinking buddy. They would be at the bar. They're both dead. They can't sue me now. Getting wasted Fridays and Saturdays every week. It's just people saw them all the time. It's the worst kept secret. You can Google it. Like, it's all over the place. Everybody knows that was William Clay Ford Sr.'s guy. The guy was the GM for 22 years without a playoff win. I don't care, modern era or old era. What is the precedent for that? Even 10 years would be like insane. 22 years. But that was his friend, Tom Owand, 2008 to 2015, team president of the Detroit Lions, had absolutely no credentials whatsoever. What was the relationship there? His dad was the Ford family attorney. Dear family friends. They were all really close. You get to run this $1 billion operation. That made sense. Present day, who replaced Tom Owand, did they learn their lesson in leadership and going inside the family or inside the family's inner circle? No. They went from the son of their family attorney to the family accountant, Rod Wood, 2015, the president who, to back up everything I'm saying, at his introductory press conference, inexplicably, said openly that he was unqualified for the position. I can't fathom that. My takeaway is they're not dumb. They're not cursed. They're not unlucky. There's no conspiracy against them. Their specific flaw is they put somebody that they just like personally in a big spot. Is that fair?
Oh, that's 100% fair. Fords, stop hiring your fucking friends.
Yeah, and we're still there. There's a direct line from Russ Thomas.
Well, and they let then the people that they bring in hire their friends.
Yeah. Good.
And become
great.
good.
That's
and
a great point.
Time out, Fords. This is a load of shit. And it's just a whole buddy, like, let's run a football team together. I would love to have millions of dollars and just be like, you guys want to go buy an NFL team? Just fuck shit up.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That's a great point.
Sounds
because
fun.
You're talking about Quinn Trisha, I'm guessing. With
hell yeah, I am. I hate them.
just to clarify. Like, I didn't even think about that, but that is true. It's like the same sort of ethos flowing downstream into the lower arches of the organization. That's a great point. I mean, it's true. That just affirms everything.
Yeah.
The culture is like, oh, like, it'll be okay. And I'm sorry, like, $1 billion operation. There's 1 million people that would die for that job. Are you telling me that the person who just happens to, by coincidence, be the best person for that job is the son of your family buddy and attorney, the guy you go to the bar with in Pontiac? Like, I'm sorry, I don't believe in anomalies that large, that in that type of succession. It's not, oh, Russ Thomas just happened to be great, and he happens to be the guy I get booted with in Pontiac. They don't give a shit. People say, oh, they want to win. Yeah, they'd rather win than lose. But if I'm like, I owe this town we bought the team the year JFK got his head blown off in Dallas. That was a long time ago. Like, I would feel like, okay, we tried the friend thing for the last 60 years. It's time to move on. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you agree because I liked my theory.
I do. I like your theory.
It's too incestuous, nepotism, whatever you want to call it. Like, I mean, to use a shady term, I hate it. So, okay, you don't think I'm nuts.
No,
okay.
I don't.
So, I think the burden of proof, you're a fan of Sheila. The burden
okay, fan, apologist.
Okay, fair. You did say apologist. Which is the term apologist, like, by definition, you're like kind of admitting there's something to apologize for.
No, 100%.
So, fair. I see the burden of proof is on them. Like, I do not buy that Sheila's any different. And I think, thank God, I was so relieved. I know you guys talked about it on your show because I watched that day. I made a point to watch you guys that day. when Sheila Ford Hamp at Calvin Johnson's thing at Ford Field
Yeah.
gets booed. I want to play that. Most people have seen that, but we'll revisit it. If you haven't
Okay.
seen it, it'll be good to see to frame. So let's run that,
hurts
Ben.
me.
I know not.
Thank you, Dennis. Lions fans, isn't it great to have Calvin Johnson here at Ford Field? Calvin, that's all right.
I just don't know how tone deaf you have to be to not have seen that coming if you're her. Like, she was like befuddled. I think that is such a lack of understanding of like how she's perceived. But you didn't like that. You think that's unfair.
It makes me sad. I'm too nice. If anyone's getting booed like that, I would want to cry.
No, that was worthy.
I just put myself in other people's shoes, and I'm like, I don't even know what I would do if I was Sheila in that position. I would have just started sobbing.
No, but you're good at your job, so you don't have to worry about that. Like, I mean, nobody pleases everybody, but there's no room that 65,000 people would have a good reason to boo you. Like, you're just
Not yet.
no, like you're good. Like, you're good at what you do. Like, I'm sorry that they are so bad. There's no reason to defend them. And if you want to say like I feel bad for her,
Yeah.
okay, now you're just being a nice person. Like,
Right. No, that was.
But you know, there's people out there
I
that,
understand the frustration.
I don't know.
And also just like kind of crowd mob mentality. It's kind of funny once you're there a little bit, because when I was at the Eagles game, they had that ring ceremony, and even I was chanting like, bring out Sheila, because I just wanted to witness it. And I was like, why am I being mean? I don't even dislike Sheila.
You were roped in.
But I was roped in. I was just like, I'm with the mob. We're losing to the damn Eagles in a horrific fashion. And I'm pissed off. So I'm like, bring her out.
Yeah, Eagles are no world beaters. Like, for the record, I don't need the mob's support or amping up. I could like stand in my garage alone and boo them, like wherever I am. Like, I'll just get the megaphone out and hope they hear me. Like, I don't need any juicing up or revving up from external sources. They have ruined my professional football fandom life. They have. They've given me nothing. The Detroit Tigers have frustrated me to no end. But I got to go to New York and see A-Rod strike out and the Tigers celebrate at Yankee Stadium in a clinching Game 5. I got to see a walk-off home run that sent them to the World Series. I got something. I haven't been alive for a World Series title, but I've seen them on the doorstep a couple times. Pistons, I saw them win.
Yep.
Yeah, the Red Wings, they have to be bad for like 50 years before I complain.
Same.
I mean, and they're already getting rolling with Yzerman, like, but they're already making good. It's like it bothers me that the Red Wings are the class of professional sports for 22, 23 years. They have like a bad 5 years, and they're already coming back. The Lions have been on that bad 5-year thing for like 60 years. I can't stand it. What's the point for you where you've had it? Like, you'll still watch like me, but like the lights in your smile are going off. Like, we're turning that smile upside down. 32, 33. How much steam do you have left in the tank? Because I was like 27, 28 when I was like, you know what, fuck this. Like, it's not going to happen.
Genuinely, what's like turning it down a bit is the fact that I have to talk about it every day. Before I watched it, it sucked. It would ruin the rest of my Sunday, maybe into my Monday if people at school were giving me shit for being a Lions fan. But then I could just be like, all right, maybe a day and a half of sadness, and then I was over it. But now
you can't get away from it.
I have to relive it over and over and think, oh, we need another Lions topic today. What else can we bring up? Oh, how about how bad they suck?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
It's like, oh my God, this is so tiring. And yeah, it sucks. So, I mean, and I don't want it to happen because it's my dream to cover Detroit sports and I get to live it every day. But when that day comes, I think I'll be like more excited to watch the Lions again. Because when I was watching that tie go down, I was like, oh God, this is going to be a lot of Lions topics tomorrow and the day after of me just beating a dead horse of they suck. Jared Goff sucks. Everything sucks. And it is so tiring.
Where were you at on Goff before the year? Because I have some embarrassing tape that I don't want anybody to pull up of me, which we did not pull.
Oh, I was going to say, did you pull it?
No, I don't want anybody to see it.
I was not on the Goff train.
Okay.
I was trained by Sean P. Belizean. And he was like, Kennedy, look at me. absolutely not on this man. And I was like, you know what, Shawnee B, I trust you. So I was like, nope. I didn't really know anything about Goff. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
Did not watch the Rams. Do I watch the Rams every time they're playing now? Absolutely. I love Matthew Stafford. I don't care what anyone says.
I'm with you on that.
So many people are like, you can't have it both ways. You cannot be a Lions fan and still root for Matthew Stafford. And I'm like,
the hell I
watch
can't.
me.
I got your back on that one.
Watch me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The second they were taking Stafford away from me, I was like, there's never going to be another quarterback like him for me.
Probably not. I mean, there wasn't one before him for 50 years like that. I mean, for the record, I never said like, oh, Goff's great. I kind of had a Sheila Ford-Ham thing with you. Like, I felt bad for Goff because I felt as bad as you could for a guy who's like 26 making $35 million a year.
Right.
Like with a beautiful fiance or girlfriend or whatever
Girlfriend,
she was.
yeah.
Like
nicest people ever, by the way.
I've heard that too about.
That's why
I've heard that about him. But
I hate talking poorly about Goff because his girlfriend is the nicest ever. His dad was super nice to me.
How did you meet the girlfriend? What's that
I
about?
ran into them in a coffee shop and she was just like, hey, I'm new here. Like, what's your coffee order? And I was like, oh my God, like, I know who you are.
Well, you wrote an article about her, like being the new queen of Detroit or something.
I did.
Was that before or after you met her?
Before.
Okay, so you definitely
And I
knew who
met
she
her
was.
and I was like, it was 2 weeks after I wrote the article. I was like, I just wrote an article about you.
That's so funny.
And
yeah.
she was like, really? I was like, congrats on Sports Illustrated. Like, I am obsessed with you. And she was like, okay, psycho, I just asked like what you get here.
Yeah, right. Nice. Oh, yeah, it's good timing on the article too. It's like I could pull it up on my phone. I did stand for you. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt bad for him because I've never seen a player get shit on so publicly by his organization, like while he was still in their employee. I've seen the Boston Red Sox shit on people on the way out, like for 30 years. But like I've never seen a team like they're sitting quarterback, they're sitting QB1. And like McVay's like rolling his eyes on the sidelines during games. I'm like, can you fix your body language here, pal? Like, I mean, the guy's still your quarterback. Like, he seems like a nice guy. I'm not saying you have to like him, but like, Jesus, can you tone it down a little bit?
I know a lot of people like Sean McVay, but he just like seems like such a grade A douchebag to me. Looking at him pisses me off. I want to punch him. I don't know what it is, but like
he seems a little
something
bit
about him
himself.
Seems horrendous to be around.
Yeah, the way he treated Goff, I didn't like. So I mean, that was my big thing. It was all because Goff said he would bang his wife or something. Is that true? Do we know that?
There were text messages that were leaked.
Was that like okay,
confirmed?
So
like,
we know
Goff
that.
said like I would
that.
bang McVay's wife or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll defer to you. I've heard that. I didn't know if that was like a rumor, like the Prince Fielder thing with.
I don't like
obviously
to ever give anyone a pass on anything really, but that's such locker room talk.
Yeah.
He does have a hot wife.
Yeah.
I'd say the same thing.
Yeah, see, there you go. We're keeping it real now. I don't know. I remember seeing McVay's wife in a picture and being like, she's attractive. I can't remember what she looks like, but yeah, I mean, whatever. If the worst thing somebody, like if I found out and
everyone says that about Goff's girlfriend.
Well,
I said about Goff's
sure,
girlfriend.
yeah, see?
I'm like, she's fucking perfect. I'd bang her.
Yeah, and you're, I think, straight. There was a boyfriend mentioned earlier in the interview, right? So I mean, whatever you're into, but it's just funny because it's like if I found out, of a guy I know or worked with was like, oh, I want to bang Justin's wife or something, I'd be like, hey man, can you tone it down?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be like,
hey, don't say that.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't be like, this relationship is irreparably damaged. Like, it's just, come on, like that's your complaint,
Especially because it was like a text. I'm sure it was like a jokey type.
How did that get out? What kind of creep let that out?
I don't know. That is a good question. I forget the whole story, but I do remember reading the text and being like, that seems like something guys say when their coach has a hot wife.
Yeah.
Like that's what my guy friends say that to me because I have a hot mom.
Oh, there you go. So yeah,
MILF status.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got the same problem,
and I'll be like, Ma, good for you.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, if the worst thing somebody says is like, oh, you or your spouse is hot, like,
you're having a good day.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing that's happening.
You're having a good life if that's if that's the worst thing that's happened to you this month. Okay, let's transition to this. Speaking of controversies.
Oh God.
We're not going to do a whole lot on this, but I wanted to touch on the Kelly Stafford thing. I know you know about this.
I do.
We talked about the timing. You write this article about Jared Goff's girlfriend, and then you run into her. Similarly hilarious timing. You come out publicly saying you're a huge Kelly Stafford fan. You would lay down in traffic for her if it came down to it.
Did I say all that?
No, I may be running with it a little bit, but you came out in some level of support for Kelly Stafford.
I did.
She has been maligned by this show. People, anytime we talk about her, this will happen now. If this clip gets cut, it'll happen. Why do you care what she thinks? I'm sorry. She is in the news. It's relevant. I think she's fun to make fun of. I'm sorry. I'm not like offended by her. I'm not like, won't somebody please think of the children like Helen Lovejoy in The Simpsons? It's not keeping me up at night, but it's funny. Like, it is funny. And the latest funny Kelly Stafford thing, we'll throw up the TMZ screenshot that they captured because I think this has since been deleted. So we're not going to read it verbatim.
She deleted this comment?
Well, I couldn't find it, but I'm not saying she definitely deleted it.
Okay,
I couldn't find it when I looked for it.
Okay.
And so I think she deleted it, but I don't want to, slander somebody here. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but basically she posted something about the game or a photo at the game, and this fan is saying like, hey, last night's game, why did you throw a pretzel? And she comes out and says, I know, I'm an idiot. He was saying a bunch of things that were aggressive, and I was upset, and I apologize, and we actually captured a picture of her. This has never been released, so Ben will throw that up. This is kind of evidence of the crime there. Yeah, she put her lion shirt back on.
Shirt.
Yeah. So she's got her big pretzel there. So this is, I don't know. That's her night shirt actually. She
sleeps in her lion.
Yeah, she sleeps in her lion's gear. She doesn't care if the kid spits up on it. Okay, so we're not going to do 10, 15 minutes on this, but I'm sorry. We'll finish here, and then I'm going to give you the mic for the rest of the time. Our buddy Andy Isaac.
Oh boy.
We tweeted this. He agrees with me. Andy, who is like pro everything that I'm against. Like he's pro being nice. He's pro there's never seen anything bad about.
He's pro everything I'm against too. He's a big meat eater. And he always craps on me for being vegan. So I didn't know you were vegan. We'll make fun of you for that later. Yeah, okay,
but he's definitely not going to get on that train anytime soon.
No.
But no, he's more of like a come on, let people live and let live. Like he thinks I'm too mean to Lions fans and stuff. And this is like Mr. Nice Guy Isaac. This is his take on Kelly Stafford on my show a few months ago.
She is making TMZ on a regular basis as the wife of a quarterback on a crappy franchise. I seriously cannot believe how much attention she gets. And I love Matthew Stafford. I think he is probably the best quarterback we'll ever see in Detroit. But when he leaves, her leaving we should throw a ticker tape parade when she leaves. And I hope that I never have to hear from her again. I seriously cannot believe how often she's in the news cycle.
It's funny that he talks about she's always on TMZ, and this was a TMZ story. So I get called. You can pull up the, on your own time, pull up the comments on that video, which we had isolated on YouTube. My tweet, when I tweeted it out, people say I'm insensitive. It's a it's a woman, anti-woman thing. Like, oh, shut up, the lady's talking thing. Like when she says something or does something stupid, I get so frustrated. It's like, am I crazy to think that she is insane to be in the news every 6 months?
Yes, because you know who the people are who aren't in the NFL that are in the news: Kelly Stafford and Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah.
And Mahomes' wife.
Yeah.
Don't know her name. I super apologize for not knowing
I think
her
fiance,
name.
technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dumbass. What are they doing? Throwing water bottles, TikTok dances on places they shouldn't be TikTok dancing.
Sean Taylor's retired number.
Correct. Just be better, you guys. This is frustrating at this point. It's not funny anymore. The first couple times you're like, haha, look how stupid they are. This is fun to make fun of. But now it's just like, okay, now you're irritating. But I'm going to assume, since you said it was a couple months ago when Isaac was on.
Yeah, well, I think it was 10 months ago or something.
That was the COVID thing, right? When she
the dictatorship,
the rant. Okay, yeah, that was a good one. That was a juicy one. Way to go, Kelly.
There's so many. He and I did a segment on it. It was not that long. It was 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him on the air, there's so many I left out. There's 15 things she's done. She was scalping her tickets that she got from her husband, for a huge markup while he was making $35 million a year. A game in New Orleans, she was scalping them, to the highest bidder. It's I'm fine with rich people getting their money back, get what you paid or whatever. But give it to a charity or sell it at cost. Why are you scalping them? It was just bad optics.
Yeah.
It's not illegal, but she just a tone-deaf human being and ripping the Lions fans, and if they don't want us, we'll leave. She's had a couple of those. I think, and this is where I'll pivot to this, but just generally, don't you think, and there's Bill Burr had a bit about this, like, shouldn't the spouse, sex doesn't matter, shouldn't the spouse of the prominent figure kind of like lay low? Like if in the public sphere, like if I'm at my wife's place of work, she worked at a children's hospital in Chicago when we lived there. I visited a couple times. I'm not going to be in there making a scene.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I'm seen, not heard. You know, I'm not antisocial, but I'm not going to be in there like criticizing nurses in the hallway. Like, and she comes to my place of business, like she's, you know, polite and pleasant. You don't make a scene when you're at your spouse's place of work. Don't you think she should just lay low? Is that like sexist to say that?
I wouldn't say it's sexist at all, but I will say that if it were me, I think, or I don't want to speak for Kelly. I don't ever want to speak for anyone ever, but I think she thinks that Matthew has a little bit of a disconnect with fans because he's completely off social media. He won't do it. He doesn't want to do it. I respect that. I think she thinks that she's doing all of the fans a favor by being so on social media that you guys come look at inside the Stafford's life. And I mean, I fall for it too. I love seeing the pictures of all the girls, them playing in their flag football games.
The family stuff's great. Nobody argues that.
The family stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I tweeted when I was like, all right, you guys might not like Kelly Stafford, but I really fucking like her podcast. Like the night or day after with Kelly Stafford or whatever, morning after with Kelly Stafford, like that's genius. And I get to learn about how Stafford was kind of a dick to her in college and about the first time they banged. She talked
about that?
Yes, I live for that stuff. Like,
now I might have to check that out.
I know, right?
What was the story? Like, can I get like the Cliff Notes?
Yeah, I'll give you the Cliff Notes. So basically, he's quarterback at Georgia.
Yeah.
She was a freshman. They went to a bar. They met at a bar. Blah blah. She ended up going home with him, and then they slept together. And then he basically ghosted. And so she called him the next day, and he was on the training table, and she was like, "What the? Like, I do not do that, and you cannot leave." Basically, kind of went psycho on him. I would never. Good for you, Kelly. I don't have the balls to do that to guys that ghost me. And then they didn't talk for months, and then reconnected later on. I guess I don't know. It was funny though. I was like, oh, Stafford was kind of a bad boy in college. I love that for him.
That's kind of funny. I would have never guessed
Me
that.
either. I thought he would have been let's lock this down, ring.
Yeah.
No.
He seems like the type. But
I was trying to hit and quit.
Yeah, she knocked that out of him pretty quick because he's the most meek. I mean, that's what Andy was saying when he was in. I can't imagine. He was talking about the dictatorship thing. Mm-hmm. He said, I can't imagine. Stafford, puts his pads away at Allen Park that day. His phone's blowing up with all this shit. And it's what was that walk into the front door through the foyer at his house?
Horrific.
Kelly's all over the news again. It's not the first time. It's the here we go again aspect of it makes it worse. It does.
Totally.
It's there's no forgiving. It's not like she's killing anybody, but it's just come on, get it together. So I'm glad you agree that I'm not a chauvinist pig for being Kelly, I'm tired of reading about you every 6 months. Yeah. I don't all the other spouses. They're not in the news for throwing shit.
They do their Instagram ads because people follow them, and I think that's fine too. Whatever. Yeah. Make your side money that if something happens, you have some. But yeah.
You've met her. You said she was pretty cool when you met her, right?
She was. Yeah. She was. Obviously, she came and did stuff studio at Woodward Sports. She was awesome. She gave a bunch of TVs, toys, anything kids want it, you name it, she had it in that studio, and she came multiple times. So she's a very giving person. I will not take that from her, but she's got to be smarter.
Yeah, fair. So let's transition to this. Off the Lions, off Kelly Stafford, for the love of God and love of our audience. They can only take so much.
True. Sorry, everyone.
No. And the Lions are interesting, and I was curious for your take on it, but I buried the lead with you. The real reason I wanted you here, which I think no gotcha.
No gotcha.
I'm fascinated by the topic generally, and particularly in someone like your case. You're local. You're right at the age. You're right out of college. You're the perfect person to talk to about something I'm really interested in. It's a woman freshly entering a male-dominated industry, which is what you're in right now. You're fresh out of college. Butler was it this spring you graduated,
yes.
right? So 6 months,
baby,
5 months. Yeah, you're spring chicken in terms of college graduate context. I think you had internships, right? Like along
Yes.
this sort of broadcasting. But this is your passion. This isn't like you're not like doing Woodward Sports until like a job at the barbershop opens up, right? Like,
Right.
this is
No.
what you're doing
Oh yeah.
openly. This was your background with education. And my understanding is Butler's a pretty good program. So you dove right in. You're out of college. You're in. You're Woodward Sports. Like you rolled out of bed. Like they won't call me, but they're calling you. You're walking across the platform. They're calling you. So there's just, I think, a challenge for somebody like you in your position. Because I think you face some resistance that somebody like me wouldn't. I mean, I'm older than you now, but had I gone right into this, 23, the scary thing for me is I did not go hunting for a fringe opinion. I just threw out a search term and got 1,000 things that make it pretty clear. There's some people that like just don't want women in this industry, like openly.
Yes.
So we'll pull a couple examples, and we'll get through this. But
Okay.
this was rather famously, because this isn't some random guy. This is a guy with a pretty big following, Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire.
I saw this shit. Oh my.
This is a guy. I mean, I want to pull it up so I don't get it wrong.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's got, in terms of his followers, let's look up his follower count, but it's pretty big. I mean, he's not Ben Shapiro big, but
Right.
yeah, he's got almost 1 million. He's at 734,000 followers.
I think I quote tweeted this and went off.
I think everybody like with good conscience in your field did. Like,
Right.
it's like you kind of had to respond to
They're
this,
like,
but
dude, this isn't right.
But
Come
this
on.
isn't some random guy. And for the record, I've had Ben Shapiro's now former. He's moved in a different role, but former producer in studio. Like it's. I've never met Matt Walsh, but like he's not my cup of tea. And beyond this, but this is the quote from Matt Walsh back in September. Quote, "Yes, I said that I don't like female analysts and reporters in football. No, I don't care if that upsets you. No, I don't apologize. Yes, I think women are feminizing traditionally male spaces. Yes, I think that's bad. Yes, I'm right. No, your whining doesn't change any of this."
Yes, I'm right.
Yeah, that's a good argument. So, well, the thing that was so funny about this is September 7th. So this is just over 2 months ago. The guy barely had enough time for the flames around him to die down before he was immediately contradicted by his company in rather public, famous fashion. So this is what the headline was. Like a month later, a couple weeks later, Ben, throw that up there, with Allison Williams is hired by the Daily Wire on November 1st. This was not even 2 months later. It was like 50 days after Matt Walsh says, like, look, get these women out of my sports. I don't want them. That his employer, his company, he's like the 4th or 5th biggest guy there, hires a ESPN reporter named Allison Williams, who had refused Disney ESPN's vaccine mandate and was effectively a free agent. Daily Wire is openly celebrating the hiring of this female sports broadcaster, which apparently it's a bad thing that people like her even exist. So I thought that was interesting. We'll transition really quick to more of the dopes of the world, but this is a prominent sort of position. This guy, this is old, but this is something you see all the time.
This is horrendous.
Erin Andrews, and tagged her, by the way, wanted her to see it. This is directed to her. Erin Andrews, stick to getting railed through a peephole, dumb broad. You're like school on Sunday, no class. He's taunting her for having been a victim of a peeping Tom incident pretty famously. And we'll throw another one up. By the way, there's like hundreds of these when I search this stuff. Quote, Erin Andrews is hot, but the only reason she still has a job is because she got sexually harassed. So it does sometimes feel like you can't really win. And we'll finish here before it's your mic for 10 minutes.
Okay.
This was a journalist responding to this type of crap on the sort of rational side. This is Keza McDonald. Quote, "There's no way to win if you're a woman on camera. There's no acceptable level of hot. Either you're too hot and they undermine you with, you only got the job because of your looks / sexual favors, or you're not hot enough and shouldn't even be on their screens in the first place. How dare you?"
Nailed it.
That was the best I found, right?
Nailed it.
Do you sort of sense that it's like some people don't even want me to do this? Like I'm an impediment. I'm imposing on what people want. Do you sense any of sort of the vibe that people are throwing out there?
I mean, I can't really say it better than that last tweet, to be completely honest. That's exactly how you feel every single day doing this job. There are people that will love you just because of how you look. There are people that are going to hate you because you're not hot enough to be on their screen. And then there's people that think you just slept your way there. And that's pretty much your options. Swear to you. Obviously, I can't say like everyone is that way because there's obviously good people in the industry, yourself included,
I appreciate it.
who want to give girls a chance. And you sat down with me before we started and said, I want to talk to you because you know about sports. But there's people that genuinely think girl dumb can't understand sport. Like man world, no girl. Like makeup only. And it's just, I say it to my friends all the time because I get tweeted at constantly where it's just like, you can't know about this. You never played. And I'm like, oh, I forgot that putting a ball into a hoop was rocket science. My bad. Could never understand. Like, at the end of the day, people need to understand sports are X's and O's, and anyone can study it and understand it. You could be the most unathletic person in the world and still understand a sport. For example, I am not that great of a horseback rider, but I'm a great coach, and I coach girls for summers on summers on summers, and at the highest level. But I could not ride at the highest level. It happens.
Yeah.
There's great coaches that weren't that good of players. So therefore, there can be females in this industry, women, I don't really like them, but in this industry, who have never played the sport and can still spit hella game, and they know their shit. And so, yeah. But when it comes to attractive stuff, I mean, you see it even in my chat, I'm sure. Because every once in a while, people are just talking about my looks.
I got called out for complimenting you.
Oh, there's no one safe.
Multiple times
No one's safe.
because they thought I was hitting on you. I said, what's the word that was the flirtation? I'm literally, I'm in the same paragraph. I'm like, Adam and Kennedy are like on fire today. They're bringing it with this Lions thing. Like, you guys fucking rock today. Or something. I'm paraphrasing. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, stop simping for Kennedy. I'm like, am I simping for Adam too?
The simping thing is horrendous.
You can't even compliment a woman now. It's so frustrating. It's like, now, I do think there are guys out there, you can hate the term, I don't care. I don't use it. But like, there are guys out there that are like, Instagram models. They're like every single thing they'll comment on and just be like, "Oh, baby girl," that's like, but that's not someone complimenting. Like that's like an actual thing. That's maybe creepy, but
love like literally nothing more than getting complimented for the actual work that I'm putting in.
Yeah,
and how hard I'm trying. And like someone tweeted at me yesterday. I wrote an article about the CFP rankings. And someone tweeted at me and was like, Kennedy, your rankings were the best that I've seen. And so I was like, hell yeah. Like, that makes me feel good. But I get DMs every day, probably like 10 a day-ish, give or take. And they're just like, I know you don't know me, but you're so sexy and I watch you. And I'm like, please stop watching me then, because this is freaking me out.
You know what, who used to publicly put those out, but she doesn't anymore? I wish she did, because they were, creepy, but they were kind of funny, was Kelly Rowe. Like Elisa
I love her. I adore her.
Will you please get in her ear and tell her, like, please do the show?
tell her.
I've invited her 100 times. I'm a Kelly Rowe fan.
She's a Spartan gal.
I know. She's kind of in your camp with like I know the Lions are terrible, but like I still
totally. It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild.
Right. Yeah, it's a rebuild on repeat. Like sitting at Ford Field telling people it's a rebuild. But she used to post, and I don't know, maybe she still does it. I'm somehow missing them. But she used to tweet out like, I think she blurred out the names, but it'd be like, look at this DM I got. People would just be like, like, let me lick your butt or something. It's just like,
I get the one that I keep getting over and over again, and I'm like, is this a joke that I'm not understanding? It's like, but I've gotten 3 different DMs, the same exact wording, everything. It's like, would you kick a guy in the ball? And I'm just like,
it's like a.
Are they attacking me? Like,
or what is that? What's he going?
And I finally asked one of them. I was like, "All right, you're the 3rd guy to DM me this, like verbatim. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, I thought I was being pretty straightforward. Like, would you kick me in the balls?"
Oh, so it was like
And he was like, "Some guys just really like," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Isn't that like the most painful thing that you guys can go through?"
People are into weird shit. Here's the kicking balls aside, whatever the weird comment may be. I honestly, and I think I tweeted something out about this a few weeks ago. Like, what is the precedent for a guy being weird like that and it paying off? Like, it's
never worked.
I have a lot of friends who are girls. My wife's told me stories from when she was single. It's like, yeah, you see it yourself in college, guys that are, creepily dancing up on, like, I've never seen like, hey girl, did you suck dick? And then it's like, oh yeah, I'll be over in 10 minutes. Like, I'm not saying in the history of mankind it's never happened.
It happens if you're like a professional athlete, I'm
sure.
sure.
I'm not talking about.
But the average Joe's, that's not going to work.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy, it works. Like, we know that.
We know
that. Yeah. I mean, it's, like, if you're super famous, rich, whatever, like, that's fine. I'm not talking about huge outliers, but general, like, mankind, that's not an effective. Why do they do it though? I want to ask them. Like
yes. Where do you
has
think
it ever
this is getting
worked?
You? It's getting you less money because you're buying these girls drinks.
Yeah.
And then they're taking them and they're walking away.
Yeah.
And then telling their friends
Doesn't work.
that this creep just got me a free drink. That's as far as it's ever gotten anyone.
So you get several DMs a day from guys being like, "You're beautiful," kind of, or whatever. Or you're,
but
weirder.
Yeah, but weirder.
But isn't that frustrating? Because like when I get DMs, it's either like, "Hey, you're a fucking idiot," which is cool. I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
Or like, "Hey, loved your show," or whatever. No one's ever like, "Hey, like, can you kick me in the vagina or something?" Like, I've never had that weird. Is that frustrating for you?
No, yeah, it's definitely frustrating because like it just makes you feel not heard, I guess. Like no one's listening. They're just looking at you. But whatever you're saying is just kind of on deaf ears.
Immaterial.
Yeah. So it's definitely frustrating. I don't know how anyone because I have such a small sample size, right?
Yeah.
A couple thousand views a day here and there. We're growing. I'm not saying it's bad, but like the Joy Taylors of the world, the Aaron Andrews, the Kay Adams. I'm like, how their DMs just, they can't even look at them. I'm sure.
I would think they're closed, but I mean, I don't know, but I would not have my DMs open if I were, especially like Aaron Andrews, who was so famously a victim of a illegal sexualization of her.
And it so like publicly broke her down. I did an entire paper on it in school, actually. So
really
pretty well versed in the Aaron Andrews dilemma. But no, yeah, she was very publicly broken up like that. So when I see tweets like that, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you ever tweet that at someone?
Yeah.
And
like what did she do?
Nothing.
Yeah, she's the victim. It's like you're taunting her for.
People are mad that she got paid what deservingly so. She
like $40 million or so. It was big, right?
It was big, but she also was like traumatized, and also that hotel completely fucked up by answering it, and they were like, "Hi, I want the room next to Aaron Andrews. I heard she's staying here." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, sure, we'll put you right next to her."
Was that a component of that? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, the front desk guy.
No wonder they had to pay us.
You can put her right here, and that's why they had to pay so much. Whatever hotel it was, Marriott or whatever.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, your point is valid. Like, if you're dealing with this as like your fresh puppy out of college, like fledgling network that's on the come now and developing, like, what the hell does Joy Taylor do? I mean, it's like I think Joy Taylor
gets it bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because not only is she a woman, she's a woman of color as well.
Yeah.
Which is just a whole nother something I'll never even understand.
She'll call him out though. Like people will call her. People will call her like fat or something, and she'll quote tweet it. She'll be like, "You would pay me $1 million to sit on your face," or something.
It's true. And it's always the guys with no profile picture.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, at least I'm willing to show my face on the internet. So what do you look like?
Yeah. Well, and that I mean, not to get too far off because this is a gender binary thing, frankly, but we touched on it before the show a little bit. The anonymous Twitter thing is one of my biggest pet peeves in the world.
Yes.
Now, if you want to be anonymous and sit there and be like, well, I don't like the 2-3 zone they're playing, like whatever. But the onus is on you if you are going to be out there flame throwing. And I don't even mean like doing anything that I wouldn't do. I mean just like having strong opinions and criticizing people, even if it's not personal. You owe it to have your name on what you write. And if you are coming, which by the way, 95% of people that attack me are anonymous. There's a couple exceptions. Yep. Why would I respect anything you're saying if you have so little respect for your own words that you won't put your name to them.
Right.
Why would I? Is that crazy?
No, I think that's completely valid. That's a good way to look at it.
You don't even like what you're saying enough to put your name on it. Why should I?
Well, and then there's the opposite end of the spectrum, which I have realized happens more with Adam even than with me. With his nationality, people are so openly racist towards him in our YouTube comments. It's disgusting.
I've seen it.
And I'm like, and their names will be next to that. I'm like, I could screenshot that, find your employer, and you would be fired. So let's think, people. And also just not be racist. That would be awesome. But
that'd be a good
but,
step.
you know.
Well, yes, he got called out on Twitter the other day for saying something defending Robert Saleh. It's like, oh, I can't imagine why you're defending him. Like, you know, it's like,
shut up.
Yeah, it's just, you know, people are so stupid. And I don't think that guy had his name to it either, by the way. But it's like, even if you are, like you said, some of those guys have their names to it. Like, I mean, they're dumb, but I have like a shred of like, okay, like at least you're out there. Like the people that are doing it anonymously, like the people that DM you, like percentage, are they usually anonymous? Like,
typically, yeah. I got followed by like I want to eat your ass 1 today on Instagram and got DMs.
Okay, yeah.
About him
I'm
watching.
a fan of 2, but not 1.
Yeah. The 1 was taking it too far. My favorite, I'll call him out by name because it's constant, like a daily thing. Sparty Rob. A Michigan State guy.
Oh, sorry.
Sparty Rob is always in my DMs, and they are always wild. And I've never once replied, but he tries every day. They're pretty awesome.
I don't know if I know him.
His bio is "I love my wife,"
Sparty Rob,
which is awesome.
He's married.
Oh yeah, he's like this big old white dude.
Is it just like at Sparty Rob?
No, I think there's. I'll check my DMs right now and just.
Yeah, I'm looking up at Sparty Rob, and it's some guy like I'm an IBM guy. Like this guy, I hope it's not this guy. Or this guy's gonna be suing us to oblivion.
Oh boy!
But I don't know.
He changed it.
Yeah, he's watching live. He changed it 10 seconds ago. I don't know.
It's now Rob is live.
Okay, well, at Sparty Rob lives in Rochester, which by the way, we're in Rochester. So this guy
I'm in your city.
Yeah, this guy like may literally hear you. Like, so,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with that.
Okay, I'll be careful.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
yeah, it's all right. So I mean, getting back kind of to where we're at, is it like? I mean, you are early in your career. Obviously, we've discussed that. You're already sort of getting it on a voluminous scale. Has the physical appearance thing been brought up in the? I mean, obviously, I get people DMing you like you're hot or whatever. Yeah. But have people been like, "Oh, you're only in that job"? Have you gotten kind of that shit yet? It's so young for you, but
luckily, I have not gotten that yet. It's coming. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Every woman gets that, right?
Genuinely, in college, in media classes and journalism classes, I had to take class called media, I don't know, something about media across the world or something nationally, or I don't know. But they basically prepped you for shit like this to happen. It was an entire class on like, here's what happened to this American reporter when she went to X country, got mobbed, got raped, got her hair pulled out by like. And they're like, so just prepare yourself. If you ever want to go cover a war somewhere, this might happen to you. And I'm like, oh, God. And then we had a lot of female speakers come in that were journalists. And they ranged from like ESPN to just like small local radio stations, news channels, whatever. And they're like, it's really hard. Every single day I get a death threat. I get called ugly.
A death threat?
Oh yeah, and that one I remember specifically was a black woman at a local news station, and she was like, because of my color and because of my gender, I get death threats every single day in my email.
That's insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get death threats for saying Lions suck. At least I'm out there being a jerk. Like,
but she was a news reporter.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm a jerk, and they go overboard in the criticism.
Right.
They're just like existing and getting death threats. I mean, it's so depressing. Like you said that you're human, like it bugs you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would bug most people. It's annoying at the very least. But is it discouraging? Annoying is different. Do you feel like, well, fuck, like this, it's not worth it or it's less worth it? Do you feel kind of actually discouraged by it?
A little bit, for sure. When I could just kind of say anything and no one's listening. When it feels like they're solely just looking at you for aesthetic purposes. But you just got to keep trying.
Yeah. Not enough that you're like,
I'm very lucky at Woodward Sports right now. I've been very, very lucky that the group of guys around me are super supportive. I've got really supportive guy friends that are really into sports that tell me they watch my videos every day and that I'm doing a good job and I should have brought up this and I should have brought constructive criticism. That's not like, hey, I think you should have wore lipstick today, or you know what I mean? So that's been awesome. I have a good personal support system around me, but yeah, when the majority of my DMs are about my looks, it gets to you after a while for sure.
And that it's just something guys don't deal with.
Yeah.
They just don't. I mean, it's like, I can't relate to that. I would be frustrated. Like if I put an appalling amount of prep in my show. Mm-hmm. Appalling. I put all this work into this great show and I have this great interview or what I think is a great interview. And I think we're really going to resonate like we are right now. Of course, everyone loves this. And if like the first 7 comments I got were like, I like your shirt or something, I would just be like, well, fuck. Like,
yeah, they're not listening.
Why did I work hard? Like I could have just worn the shirt, Now, I don't have this problem, but like, I can imagine that would suck. So you're mildly discouraged, but you're not going to stop. You're kind of is it like a chip on your shoulder? Like, fuck you kind of?
Yeah, there's the comments that are like, this girl's stupid. She doesn't get it. Yada, yada. That keeps me going. And it's kind of weird because you would think like, oh, it must be nice to be called hot all the time and blah, blah, blah. But when you're trying to get through to people, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But it's like, it sounds bad because it's like, oh my God, I'm being called hot. This sucks. But like, actually, it does. And it gets to me. But I rather people call me dumb and hate my takes. Like when I go off on a Notre Dame rant about how much I love them. And then the chat goes like, Kenny, shut the fuck up about Notre Dame. No one wants to hear it. I'm like, at least they're listening to me.
Yeah, I'll take that over.
I'll take that over you're pretty any day.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. It's
which
like,
is funny.
I'd rather be told like, hey, fuck off with that Brady Quinn's good take.
Right.
Like versus like you're attractive. But
right.
It's true. It's like I want to be criticized on the merits.
Yes.
Of what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Something not external. Like at least you're kind of in the arena of what we're talking about.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's the fact.
No, it's weird because it does seem backwards because people tell me that all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, Kennedy, getting DM'd by guys is such a hard life to live. And I'm like, no, but you like, it's hard to explain because it sounds like kind of look at me and like, I don't know how but it is frustrating because that's not something I personally care about.
Like the getting compliments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks in general.
Yeah.
I almost put makeup on to come here, and I was just like, you know what? I got to go to bed after this. So no.
But this is the Spiro Avenue show. Darren McCarty showed up in sweatpants. We're pretty casual.
I almost showed up in sweatpants, but I was like, I'm already wearing a sweatshirt. I won't go there.
It would be acceptable on this show. I have had Chris Castellani, who's actually the next guest after you on Monday.
Oh, he was just DMing me, not in a creepy way.
Oh yeah,
no. Let me be clear. He was DMing me about Butler basketball.
Oh okay,
Rip.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He'll actually be setting the record for most appearances. He's breaking the tie with Tony Paul.
Oh, okay.
He's been on the show. This will be his like 4th or 5th. I think it's 4th. But great guy. But he like wore not a super like a coat and like tie and
of course he did. He's the cutest.
Yeah, he was like super fancy. McCarty shows up in sweatpants. Like people are kind of all over the place on this show. So I'm glad that you're not discouraged because there's a difference between like this is annoying. Like there's stuff that annoys me, but I don't get discouraged. Like I get shit all the time. When we first did this show, like originally the first show we had like 72 people watched. And people were like,
that's pretty good for your first show.
Well, I had a little bit of a minor little following from before. It's like 72 people, and I got a big family, so some cousins were involved.
Okay.
But like I was getting ripped for the first show. This is the audio version. I'm not talking about the video version. And people were like, why do you even bother? I'm like, it's my first show, dog. Now we're, like 10,000 plus on everything, especially if you add up the platforms. And I'm trying to go to 50 and 100 and, and then like I'll see you in Bristol, like, Kennedy, hopefully, if you'll have me.
Of course, if I ever get it.
Yeah.
If I ever make
Why do you
it
think
there.
I'm kissing your ass? I do like you, but I know you're going places. I'm trying to get on the train so I can ride your coattails. No, but yeah, it's just, you just have to not give a shit. That's like, Valenti, I discovered, I don't know, like pro or con you are with Valenti. I know Adam and I love him. But this guy refuses to give interviews to anybody. I've asked him 100 times.
Oh, really?
He's turned me down 100 times. I found a Mike Valenti interview on YouTube. I had to do some background on it. It turns out the guy's like one of his best friends who's doing his buddy is solid. But if he talks, there's a great like 6-minute segment where he's saying, you just have to not give a shit what people think. Like I spent my, you're still in your 20s. He's like, I spent my entire 20s caring what people thought. And it just ruined my 20s. Like now I just don't care.
Yeah.
That's,
I think I learned that early because my second ever internship was with the Drew and Mike show.
Yeah, I saw that.
And their following is crazy. When I tell you, if Drew Lane tells these people to do something, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen fans like this or listeners like this. I don't know how Drew Lane has this much pull. Obviously, he's one of the best broadcasters, best people I've ever met. I adore every single person on that show. And they still call me sometimes. They called me when I was at the Eagles game. And if anyone listens, they heard me hammered on the other end of the phone. I'm at the Eagles game with Maz right now. I sounded a hot mess, but it was the content they needed and wanted. Yeah. But I learned quickly on that show with such a big following that immediately sparked the weird DMs. I actually got more shit on that show than I've ever gotten from Woodward Sports, which is interesting because I wasn't on the actual show that much because I was an intern. I was doing more behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But when I was on the show, I would get DMs. Your voice is annoying. You shouldn't go into this. You're so fucking annoying to listen to. Yeah. And then there was like, mind you, I was going into my sophomore year of college, so I was freshly 19. And then there was like,
You're taking a kid, basically.
I was literally a kid, and I would go home and cry to my dad that I can't ever go into broadcast because my voice is too annoying. Everyone hates my voice. And
I've never thought of your voice as like good or bad. You're just like talking. I don't like.
Well, that makes me feel better. But when I was on the Drew and Mike show, everyone just told me how annoying I was. And so then I was like, I think I fucked up. I think I went into the wrong thing. I'm going to have to redo my freshman year because I took all these broadcasting classes and it's not going to pan out for me. So I'm glad I didn't listen to them, but I got the don't give a fuck about what people are saying about you very early.
You were calloused early.
And that's a very big audience to be thrown into at 19. It was insane. I think over half of my Twitter followers are Drew and Mike fans still.
Are most of them decent, hopefully?
Yeah, the ones that still follow me for sure.
Yeah.
But there were Drew and Mike fan pages that, like we talked about, people not having their actual name on things.
Yeah.
Accounts of Drew's dogs, accounts of just called like Drew and Mike fans, and they would just come for me every single day, unprompted. I wouldn't have even tweeted anything, and they would just rip me to shreds on Twitter.
Do you get like, because I happen to know a lot of the people at Woodward Sports, and I've been on my show and friends of mine. So it's not a reflection on them, but the default environment that you're in, you are a literal minority still. I haven't looked at their demographics, but I turn on their channel or your channel, and it's like, it's 97% dudes. By the way, I'm not throwing rocks. I hired 2 guys. They both happen to be guys, Yeah. So it's not judging, but like, do you ever feel like, shit, I'm like with a bunch of dudes here, or is it kind of whatever?
For me personally, it's whatever.
Yeah.
For other people, it's not whatever. For me, it was what was expected. It's what my major looked like in college. I studied sports media specifically. So I knew what I was getting into. All my classes were dudes. It would be me and maybe one other girl if I was lucky. Actually, no, it normally was one other girl. Shout out Jaden Bertuzzi. Todd Bertuzzi's daughter was in all my classes with me. Love her the most. But yeah, I mean, I knew what I was getting into, but it's nice now having Megan. Shout out Megan. Does all of our videos now. When there's girls in the office, I for sure kind of go towards them because I'm like, yes, someone like me. But I mean, obviously, Adam's awesome. Jeff's awesome. Everyone that I work with has been great. So I don't ever feel on the outside.
Yeah.
Just because everyone treats me so normally there, but I know it's not always going to be like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good spot. I mean, unfortunately, that is kind of, as we saw, I mean, that's the perception that's out there. Mm-hmm. The scary thing is like, somebody like Matt Walsh, who has like almost 1 million followers,
Right.
who has, I mean, you can hate him all you want. He is a prominent media figure by definition.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where it's like, shit. Like if people with actual poll and like audience are putting that out there.
People tell me all the time that like, well, I don't mind girls sidelining, but they shouldn't do more than that. People have said that to my face.
I've heard that like 100 times. To your face?
Oh yeah. And I'm just like, well, why is that, do you think? Well, their voices are annoying. They can't commentate things. I'm like, well, do you listen to your female teachers, to your female doctors when they're talking to you? Do you think their voices are annoying then? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so why, when it comes to sports, do you think their voices are annoying? Let us sit here and think about that.
If he was talking about Beth Mowins, I'll defend him. But that's not because it's a woman thing. Beth Mowins has an objectively annoying voice. But I think Kenny Albert has an annoying voice, and he's a guy. So.
Right.
But no, I'm with you. Like you can't
blanket all girls. Can't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like the all women have an annoying voice thing is kind of an interesting take. But that's like
I've gotten it a lot.
That's a thing though. That like your voice to me is so like neutral. But you said like you repeatedly said not just one guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are weird. So I want to paint a little bit of the data picture because we're in the analytics, and then we'll put a bow on this and get you the hell out because I know you got to. We got to get to the speed round and that, and you have a morning show. But I just wanted to paint the picture here objectively. So we like numbers here. So this was from the International Women's Media Foundation in their 2014 report. Nearly 1/3 of female journalists consider leaving the profession because of online attacks and threats. Now, I didn't pull the whole thing, but it elaborated. It talked about a lot of what you're talking about. More so the online attacks that were, you're only in your job because you're hot kind of thing. So it's like this is their polling was almost 1 in 3 were so battered online along female lines. Not because you like Tim Tebow or you like Brady Quinn or whatever. Attacked for being a woman in the industry.
Yep.
So, and we'll throw this other one up. This was probably similarly equally depressing. From the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sport 2018 report, of 75 different sports media companies explored in the study, only 10% of sports reporters at the time were women. Companies received a 5th consecutive F grade for gender hiring practices in sports media, as the percentage of women sports reporters has stayed the same since 2012. Now, their methodology is explained a little bit more, and we didn't want to get too analytical in that. I mean, there are more men applying.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's never going to be, it shouldn't be 50-50. And that's sort of a misconception is if there's like, if it's 80-20, but 20% women applied, it's actually perfect.
Right.
But their methodology was sharper than that. They looked at women that were extremely qualified, that were successful, smart, checked all the boxes, and did not get these jobs. So when you look at that, this is your picture. You've dealt with your anecdotals. You're still looking at that and saying, fuck you, I don't care, I'm going forward. That's kind of where you land. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like I said, I took a class or two that was just looking at statistics like this.
Yeah.
And I wrote pages on pages on pages of things just like that. And like it did get me down for a while. I was like, I'm not going to make it. Like we see who's the top of the top, the Kay Adams, the Erin Andrews. I always go to Kay Adams first. I freaking love that woman. She's everything I want to be. But
yeah, it's a good choice. It's a good choice.
You.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
But and then if you put color on top of it, your chances get even lower, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's so sad. But then I did an entire paper on like workplace. I don't know how to even say it anymore, but like what hiring managers will tell people applying and what CEOs. It was like 1/3 of women that are like on-screen journalists, so your anchors, your reporters, have all been told to dress a different way. Lower cut things, shorter skirts.
Really? Like even recently?
Oh, yeah. I did that
Wow.
paper
I'm surprised by that,
2 years ago, I think.
Like if you told me that 15 years ago, I'd be like, oh, yeah. Of course. I wouldn't be even a little bit surprised.
They're just more subtle about it now.
That's actually kind of shocking. I'm
Yeah.
surprised by that.
It's horrendous. Like, it's straight up not fun. So everyone, be nice to your local journalists, please. I'm begging.
Yeah, please.
Just say something nice to them one time. Say the story you did today was really great.
I used to get made fun of in school for my favorite ESPN personality was Linda Cohn. And
that's a good
it
one.
had nothing to do with her physical appearance. I just loved Linda Cohn. She was really funny and sharp. And I got made fun of for liking Linda Cohn. It's like, why do you like Linda Cohn? Like everyone I like Stuart Scott too. And basically everybody in that era, but you're a little young. But I was, for some, like the heyday of ESPN. But yeah, I was like a huge Linda Cohn fan. It's so dumb that like it's weird to even think to be in this industry as a female. It's weird to like a female for,
right.
I don't know. It's just a bummer. And it's like, it's a cliche to say like, oh, as a father of a daughter, like
the girl dad thing.
Yeah, I get everybody says that. I feel like a douchebag invoking it, but like I do genuinely like I'm bummed for my daughter if she ever does want to, because it's like fuck, like I'm supposed to tell her. I'm gonna tell her like fuck them, go do it anyway.
Right.
But like it's just a bummer that that's even like a thing.
Yeah, I was lucky. My dad was the same way. He was like, "Don't care, do it. If that's what you want to do, you do it. You'll get it done." And I got a text actually, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. We sent a very nice couple front row tickets to one of the Lions games from Woodward Sports, and I was the contact that was getting it all set up through the morning show. And the girlfriend texted me and was like, "I just want to say, like, you are so inspiring." And I was just like crying. I was like, "This is what you do it for," because like, out of the hundreds of dudes that have DM'd me just based on my looks, the one girl that said she wants to be me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, doesn't that kind of like offset at least 30 of the bad ones? I mean, maybe not all of them.
Right.
It's at least 30-1. I feel like that's something like that is just kind of it keeps you going. I would think too. Oh, that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. What a great way to end that. That's a great way to end that. So, I'll just say before we get to the fun speed round, which will be a lot lighter. As you know, big fan of yours. I did not wait for you to be in my physical presence to tell you that. Big supporter of yours. I would offer my help in any way, but you certainly don't need it. Like you're doing a great job.
I might need it. You never know.
But if you ever need anything, let me know. Honestly, like big fan of yours, and I look forward to seeing you continue to grow.
Thank you.
You are awesome, and fuck all those guys. They know what they're talking about. One of my good friends, Jeff Sparbeck, did you see his comment on Twitter? Was like, "Oh, she's great." And I texted him. I was like, "Oh, like how do you know her?" He's like, "I don't know her. I just like her the videos you do."
Aww.
So
that's so nice.
So the way
that.
he phrased it, I thought he phrased it like he knew you, at least in my head. It's like, no, I don't know her. She's just good. It's like,
oh, good.
And he did not say, "Oh, she's hot." Like it was just like, yeah. So yeah, I'm sure he's watching. He told me he was excited. So yeah, Jeff Sparbeck's a big fan of yours. So, okay, let's move on. Speed round. Let's get it lighter. Thank you for your time on the serious stuff. Let's get a little silly. Don't be nervous. So we're gonna start. We're gonna start extremely light. We touched on it very briefly. Butler University. You're a proud alum, very recent alum. Just
go Dogs.
Tell me about Butler in a few sentences. Like, did you like it? What is it like there? I've never been to Butler. I've been near Indy, but what's it like there? Did you like your Butler experience?
I loved my Butler experience. If you want to be a big fish in a small pond, I would recommend. I knew all of my professors. They all know me. I was texting one of them last night that I missed him. I brought my good friend Sawyer with me to Woodward Sports. He was in my sports media classes. He's from Fenton, and I said, "You want to come work with me?" So we got Bulldogs everywhere, man. They're good people, and it's a really good place to be if you didn't want to just be a number in a classroom.
Was it a good like party school? Like, was it a fun like kind of not really?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Downtown Indy's fun.
Yeah.
Once you're 21, hit it up. Broad Ripple's really fun right outside of campus. That's where most people go to the bars on like Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday you might go downtown. You're willing to spend a little more money for the Uber, whatever. Then the frats. Obviously, I didn't get any frat parties my senior year. It's COVID.
Oh yeah, you were in that bad. Like
I got so bad. My class got the worst of it all.
I felt so
I got
bad
like
for you
a year
guys.
and a half off of my college party days.
The high school ones too. Like my nephew Colin was like graduating in a parking lot, like in their
Ugh.
cars, like they're like in Greece, like going to see a movie or something. It's,
Yeah.
it's like
Horrible.
so depressing. Like when you're a kid, like high school and college, like that period where you graduated high school, like that period where it's like nothing matters, and you're like your last couple weeks.
Senior
with your
year
friends.
of high school was the best.
Yeah.
I didn't go to class. I flew to Vegas and saw Britney Spears for my graduation present. I was like, Mom, I don't really want a graduation party. Instead, can I go see Britney Spears in Vegas? And she was like, if that's what you want. And so I took a week off of school at 18 and went and saw Britney.
Yeah, it's the best. And like you had the college shitty version, but like the high school kids,
I felt worse
that.
for the high school kids because just remember how dramatic you were about everything in high school. I was certainly dramatic about everything in high school. Like prom was the biggest deal of your entire life.
Yeah.
Everything had to be perfect. Now I'm like, I don't give two shits about what I did at prom. I can't even remember it. But at the time, prom was life or death. If I did not have prom my senior year, I would have flipped out.
Yeah.
So I felt really bad for those
The whole
kids.
world lost that. So that's a bummer. I'm glad I missed that. Okay, speaking of Indy, you mentioned one spot kind of in passing. Can't miss Indy locale. I am look, as you know, I'm a Michigan State grad. I have been to Indy many, many, many times. Our Michigan fan friends have not, unless they like had a Spartan fan that they had to go pick up,
Or they went to the NCAA tournament last.
Okay, can you please let me pick on them in peace?
I was going to say, Michigan was there. I met a lot of Michigan fans in Indy last year.
Well, in the football context.
Okay.
They've
not in the football context.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the NCAA tournament, yeah. Michigan basketball, I have a lot of respect for. The football program, it's like, will you please win something, for God's sake? I hope they never do. But just, you're like, obviously it depends. Am I going out for a nice thing? Am I going out to drink? But like, if you were to tell somebody that's in town, Indy, that's your town.
Yes.
Like, I got one night in Indy. I'm going out. Where should I go?
Oh, you're going out? Like
not like
town?
wasted. Like I'm going out to dinner.
Okay.
Like I want, maybe I'll have like some drinks at dinner, but like best like kind of food hangout, food combination spot.
So I am a big fan of. First of all, everyone wants me to say St. Elmo's, right?
That's the cliche.
No, it's overrated, and that horseradish just hurts. It's not good. It hurts.
100% agree. We're unpopular. I think it tastes horrible.
It's not the flavor. It's just like this is
bad.
uncomfortable.
No, it's
for me.
bad. It's not. Oh, I don't like horseradish anywhere. That's not
I love horseradish.
I don't. It's not a St. Elmo's thing, but
anyway.
Yeah, good. We digress.
I digress. Don't go there. Well, I mean, you can if you want, but I prefer Canal Bistro was one of my favorites. It's on the Monon in Broadwell. It's Mediterranean. If you're into that thing, that's my favorite kind of food. So I was there for brunch every single Sunday.
Good for you. I'm Cajun and Mediterranean, so I'm with you on that.
Okay.
I'd be there. What was it? Bistro?
Canal Bistro.
Canal Bistro.
Because it's on the canal.
Gotcha.
It's cute. It's really cute. The people there, the waitresses, they're the best. And then they also really got to know me and my dog because we would go sit on the patio for brunch every Sunday.
You're a frequent customer.
I frequented, yes. And then probably Mama Carolla's if you're in like a nice Italian vibe. That's got some good homemade
You're not
pasta.
Italian, Broadwell. What are you?
English.
Yeah, Broadwell's very English. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so you're English. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not Italian at all. I wish.
Yeah, you wish. Yeah, I mean the Italians are great people.
I have a
Yeah.
small family. I wish it was a little bit bigger.
Fair enough. My family's huge. That's why I had those 72 people watch that first episode.
So I need that.
Yeah, a lot of cousins. They have your back. I'll tell you what. Yeah, Indianapolis, for the record, I'll put a button on that. Like, most underrated town in the country.
Totally.
Like, it's so, people sleep on it. Like, it's awesome. I can walk everywhere. There's like 100 good restaurants. Like, it's
they have
nice.
the indoor tunnels. So
Exactly.
You don't have to walk outside anywhere.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Indy is actually great, and it's a clean city.
Very,
somehow.
for an inner city, like urban,
Yeah,
very much
very
so.
nice. And the surrounding areas are very up and coming, young, nice. Getting gentrified a little bit, but I won't get into that.
So we'll move on. You're a Notre Dame fan.
Woo!
My friends, I have mean friends. I got to get better ones. They all pick on me for a lot of things. I get picked on for loving Rudy.
Okay.
You're a Notre Dame fan.
Mm-hmm.
You're, in the pop culture. I'm assuming you've seen Rudy. Is that? No, you haven't seen it. Well, we can't talk about it. We can talk about how you haven't seen Rudy.
Okay.
You're a Notre Dame fan.
I don't even know.
You're not like it's never even crossed. I think it's
never. I'll be honest. I don't like movies.
What?
I just don't like them. They're too long.
You're not a movie. Like, do you like TV shows?
I do. If they're short, like I can't. I like today. Yesterday I started The Bachelorette, but it's an hour-long episode, right?
Yeah.
I watched like 25 minutes. Had to call quits. My attention span is horrible.
I gotta get you out then. Jesus. All right. You've been
we're
engaged.
changing topics. We're fine.
Moving it around.
But when I have to like sit and focus on one, I can't do it.
Rudy's awesome. Okay. I mean, if you hate every movie ever, I'm not gonna sell you. But
unless it's an Adam Sandler movie, I can't sit through it.
Well, those are all like 62 minutes long. So yeah, you can get through those. Those are short. Those are like long TV shows, if anything. Okay, we'll move on. Poor Rudy. I feel bad. Sorry, Rudy. You lose again. Okay. We touched on this briefly, just the fact that you had a thing of this out there. You're Michigan State. I saw the article you mentioned. I didn't want to, give away the hat here.
Okay.
I was very happy that you had Michigan State ahead of Michigan in your rankings. So we already know that. I've given away the pooch on that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why in a few sentences, because this is one of those where I kind of get both arguments. Why do you have Michigan State ahead of Michigan right now?
Well, obviously we had the head-to-head. They made it pretty clear. I am, regardless of what happened in that game, I like Peyton Thorne better than either of Michigan's quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Either of them.
I agree.
Obviously, got Kenneth Walker. Going to win the Heisman, most likely. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
If he doesn't, I'm fighting whoever's on that committee.
Well, we have to see what happens. But I mean,
know
if the
some
vote were
Heisman
today,
voters, so I'm literally going to come shank them.
Yeah. Doesn't
This is
Belizean
my-
have a vote, or he used to or something?
Belizean has a vote.
Yeah, he still has his.
Sean
He'll go for
Belizean,
Kennedy.
L-Town.
Yeah.
I'm looking straight at you.
He's a Spartan fan. He's not going to let Walker down.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah,
He's smart too. So
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he does deserve it if the vote were today.
100%.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ben. One of these empty shelves behind Kennedy, we will be getting a replica Heisman Trophy if he wins it with his name on it.
You gotta.
I've already contacted the person that does this. I'm probably jinxing it. It's already in motion. Though if he goes on the stage in New York and he wins, it'll be ordered and on its way. It'll be en route. But okay, so I mean, you laid it out. They won the head-to-head is the big thing, which is what you said.
Huge.
To me, it's razor thin.
And, here's the thing: if that game would have been earlier in the season, and State didn't continue to win out and Michigan did, then obviously it would be flip flopped. Because that's my whole thing. I had Oregon and Ohio State flip flopped. That was at the beginning of the season. They have a freshman at quarterback. He wasn't settled yet. Do I think Ohio State would beat the shit out of Oregon today? Yes, I do.
Especially in Columbus. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the context
matters.
The timing of the loss matters.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll move on. Speaking of college football, does Georgia finally get it done this year? It's like they're always in this top 5, top 6 position. They're the clear-cut number 1, deservedly so. Do they finally hang that national title banner this year?
I honestly hope so. It's the Stafford's alma mater.
Yeah. I'm rooting for them, actually.
I kind of am, too.
Short of Michigan State making it.
Right.
But, of the teams that are not Michigan State, Georgia's kind of my horse.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously like Ohio State. I know Notre Dame is going to get beaten by – they make it – they're not – no. It's not their year. It's just not.
Yeah, because
the two quarterback systems, I hate it. I won't get into it. But, yes, I would be okay with Georgia.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think they actually do it finally. But this is a little outside of the box. 2 left. You're almost out of here. Your 2-man bodyguard crew, they have to be Detroit athletes, present or former, doesn't matter. So you're walking around, you're in Vegas going to see Britney Spears, no longer in high school. But who are you hiring? Who's your 2 Detroit athletes, retired or current? Who's walking you around making, because you're like you said, 5 feet tall.
Yes.
You could probably use a couple Dominican Sue's running around.
I was just going to say, does Sue count even though he's with?
Yeah, he's a former Detroit athlete. Yeah, 100%.
But here's the thing. I work with 2, well.
You can take.
I think I got to take Joik and DMAC.
I wouldn't take DMAC now. DMAC's fingers hurt. He's like the lady in the nursing home.
DMAC has known me since I was 4 years old.
I love him. I'm just saying.
DMAC would not let anything happen to me.
Oh, so you're going for the crazy angle. He'll go nuts.
Yeah, he'll go nuts.
That's fair.
And so will Joik.
Joik's still a specimen.
Joik is still a specimen, and one of his boys kind of tried to hit me up, and he went kind of nuts on him.
Oh, really?
Well, not nuts on him, but he was like, "That's like my sister, bro. Don't." And I was like, "Come on, Joe."
Yeah. Oh, if you were interested, I don't know. I see a picture of this.
I'll tell you who after.
Okay. Well, yeah. Some attention is not unwanted, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, you're like, you got former pro athletes crawling over there. We just got Ben and I. Ben and I like play pickup basketball sometimes. But yeah, we're not crawling with celebrities like you are. All right, we'll finish here. Best sports broadcaster working today. We put me up there.
Yes.
Because we know that's the obvious choice. But if you can't pick me,
okay, take you out of
it. We know I'm number one. But beyond me, and this isn't male, female, anybody. Like, best sports broadcaster working today. Could be at Woodward, could be ESPN, doesn't matter. Who is it?
Kay Adams. Gotta be.
I figured you were
I just love she does no wrong in my eyeballs. She knows exactly what she's talking about. She nails fantasy. That's like her little niche. And she kills it.
She's good. She's very good.
She's so good. And she's so cute. And like, she just like not cute looks wise, she is. But like her personality, I don't think I've ever watched her and not been like smiling and laughing along with her. And I think that's important too.
To me, she's like charming. It's the kind of she's like very, cute, however you want to call it. Like,
but like she's got the X's and O's things down. She's got the fantasy down. She's kind of the whole package when it comes to football. And she's on Good Morning Football. That's what you just got to be.
That's a good answer. I figured you were going to go there. I mean, really, any other answer besides Colin Cowherd is incorrect. But which is why he's on my wall in painting form and is on my desk in picture form. And people come in here and they're like, "Did Cowherd go to Michigan State?" Because it's like there's the Paul Bunyan Trophy. There's Kalen Lucas. There's Kenny Goins euthanizing Duke in the Elite Eight. There's L.J. Scott beating Iowa in the Reach in 2015. And there's a painting of Colin Cowherd. What is the correlation?
I was looking at that. I was like,
"Oh, everyone's like, what the?" And he's in here twice. He's the only face on the desk other than the people physically sitting here. So, but I can't. That was a great answer. Great answer. Well, you have a show tomorrow morning.
I do.
We got to get you out of here. I'm sorry. I have had 3.5 hour shows. We have to end. I don't know how long this was. Hopefully not too long for you. But
no, I'm fine.
I loved having you. I'd love to have you back.
Thanks. This was so fun.
Not too scary, right?
No, I told Adam, I was like, I'm a little horrified.
Oh, man, people don't like me. You'd be shocked.
No, I wasn't because I didn't like you, but I was just like, I might look super stupid. I have no idea.
Okay. So you have that imposter syndrome going on. Everybody that is like actually watch you for 4 seconds knows you're really good. I honestly don't invite bad people on my show. I mean, no offense to anybody that like has not been invited. There's a lot of good people I haven't invited.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are talented, but like, you're awesome. You're going to do
Thank
great.
You.
Please remember the little people like Adam and I when you're, in Bristol or in the California studios in Fox. So tell people where they can check you out tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Tomorrow, 8 o'clock on Woodward Sports, 8 to 10 a.m. And then we're on the Roar, 97.1. Or no,
definitely not that.
Not 97.1. Wow, this drink's getting to me. 93.5. I can't do it without the things in front of me.
Yeah, we got to get you more.
93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. There it is.
She's got it. She put it in her face and her brain.
I was like, okay, see the live read in front of me that I have to do every day. There it is.
8 to 10. Look, I mean, you guys have programming throughout the day. I told you I don't do bullshit. I got to be honest. The 8 to 10 is my jam. That's my jam. I mean, they're all. I like McCarty, Neil. Like I love a lot of your guys' programming.
Yeah.
Adam's my guy.
Well,
you and Adam.
I know you Jeff love the bottom line guys.
The bottom line guys.
I love the bottom line guys.
Do you want to go there?
I just was.
Do you want
Michigan men are the faves. I know it.
Yeah, not in my audience doesn't think so. But you were blaming me for something in my audience. I get blamed for my audience all the time.
We put our names next to our tweets that night, though.
Yeah, always. Yeah, I get blamed, but I get blamed for my audience all the time. It's like people will contact me, be like, "Hey, like, why are you being such a dick?" I'm like, "What did I say?" It's like,
I said that to you.
But you were one of them. But I'm saying you're not the only one to do that. Like, I will get called out, like, after what you said to me. It's like, I didn't say shit. I was just making fun of your Michigan take. And there's 76 psychos out there that like me. I'm sorry.
It was your psychos. I came at you for your psychos.
Well, but you're not the only one. That's a crowded room you're in of people that have been like, hey, asshole. I'm like, what did like find me the tweet? What did I say?
Yeah.
So no, it's fine. And I told you when you said that, like, you did the right thing. Like those are your guys.
Those are my boys.
Yeah, like I respected the hell out of that. I told you that at the time. So yeah, and believe me, that's a crowded room of people that have messaged me calling me names. No, you didn't call me names. You were nice. You were much nicer than most people. Yeah,
I was nice.
So big fan ears, 8 to 10 every Monday through Friday.
Yes.
You, Adam, Jeff are awesome.
Thank
big fans. I watch at least like 10 minutes every day because that's like in the middle of my work, like getting started.
Oh, yeah.
I never miss it entirely, like ever.
Well,
you guys are great. So Kenny Broadwell, Woodward Sports Network. Check her out, 8 to 10. You also do great Lions content on your Twitter account.
Oh, thank you.
Big fan. And YouTube, obviously, as well. So, again, thank you to Ben Augusta, the great and powerful Oz on the other side of the empty shelves that we have. I used to say the curtain, but now it's fancy shelves that need some appointments on there. Eric Williamson, who at this hour, my God, is definitely in his boxers on his couch, half asleep with probably Labatt's dribbling off his beard. I got a small crew, but they're awesome. We love you guys. Chris Castellani of Barstool Sports. That seems weird to say. I mean,
doesn't it?
It's like
every time I see that, I'm like,
like, yeah, okay, pinch, ouch, okay, still alive. That's true. That happened.
Yes.
So he's at Barstool. That's weird to tease that in a good way. But Chris Castellani at Barstool Sports joining us on Monday. And last little teaser, we are giving away the Mel Tucker starter kit. If you have not seen this, it is awesome. The retail value of this is over $1,000. The cigar box alone is a couple $100. The lighter, this like brick lighter that the guy has that we have bought for this package is like $140 lighter. It's insane. So check that out. Just go to my Twitter feed at Darko State News. Chris Castellani will be drawing that for us on the air Monday. Ooh. So he is my Ernst & Young with the NBA lottery, how they certify it. Any accusations to shenanigans, blame Chris. Because Chris is going to audit everything for me and we'll be good. So I'm washing my hands, but I'm not picking the name. I'm not doing anything. So check that out. Again, Darko State News, check that out if you want to get involved. It's all going to charity. Every donation for the raffle tickets goes to the H Foundation in Lansing. They are big into early detection of cancer. So a lot of people don't get those tests. They're actually pretty cheap, but people don't get them because they think they're healthy. And the vast majority of cancers are treatable if you catch them early. It's a great, great charity. 100% of the proceeds, we're not keeping anything, goes to them. You actually donate it directly to them. You don't even give it to me. Check it out, Darko State News. Win that package on Monday. Kennedy, thanks so much. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan. I was a little starstruck. It was a big deal.
That is so crazy.
It's a big deal for me, but not Adam level, but like second.
I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
You're on the second pedestal. So thank you so much, and again, thank you to my great team, Spiro Avenue Show. We'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend. Go green. I'm not afraid of Ohio State.